Well, just before that story, we were talking about the US Fed, and the US Fed has actually issued a statement, and they're not raising interest rates this summer. They decided basically that following that uncertainty with the Brexit, they're not going to go ahead with a summer interest rate hike, and there's also a shockingly weak May jobs report.
And basically this was expected, no interest rate hike right now in the United States. Little reaction, by the way, the rand basically stable and the dollar as well. But everyone will be looking at this report to find out when the US will raise rates. And what they're talking about right now, it takes a while for these reports to be digested, but a slightly hawkish tone, meaning we could see a rate hike in the US this year, and that'll be negative for the rand for South Africa because it makes our rates relatively less attractive. We fear investors moving out, but basically the danger very small, and not much reaction to that statement right now.
If that does happen, there'll be a new president. United States President Barack Obama will headline Day 3 of the Democratic National Convention. The historic first black president will offer his full endorsement to the historic first woman presidential nominee of a major political party in the 240-year history of the country.
Can't believe it's taken that long. Hillary Clinton's moment became official yesterday when a majority of delegates voted to name her the top of the ticket over Senator Bernie Sanders to face Republican Donald Trump in November. Sherwin Bryce-Pease is on the ground for us in Philadelphia with the latest.
The commander-in-chief and now probably the most high-profile Hillary Clinton surrogate, President Obama, is expected to make the case to delegates and the nation as to why his former Secretary of State should be president rather than Donald Trump. He will speak about his time in office, the achievements of his presidency, and the legacy he once continued under a Democratic president, and the risks electing a Republican would pose to that trajectory. This after a night of testimonials for Clinton, including from the 42nd President of the United States, whose job it was to share the personal stories of his family and that of his wife.
If you believe in making change from the bottom up, if you believe the measure of change is how many people's lives are better, you know it's hard and some people think it's boring. Speeches like this are fun. Actually doing the work is hard. So people say, well, we need to change. She's been around a long time, she sure has. And she's sure been worth every single year she's put into making people's lives better.
Speaker after speaker elevated Clinton's experience, her work ethic and strengths, and her compassion for the weak and the vulnerable.
We are not going back, we are going forward. That's why we all must go to the polls in November and vote like we never ever voted before. Now, 8 years ago, our party, the Democratic Party, nominated and elected the first person of color to ever serve in the White House. Not just for one term, but 2 terms. Tonight, on this night, we will shatter that glass ceiling again.
Among the issues of our time was a powerful tribute to the mothers of the Black Lives Matter movement, mothers who have lost loved ones at the hands of police actions.
This isn't about being politically correct. This is about saving our children. That's why we're here tonight with Hillary Clinton. And that's why, in memory of our children, we are imploring you, all of you, to vote this election day.
Tonight's speakers are some big names in U.S. politics. Vice President Joe Biden will be here, the former Republican and then independent mayor of New York, and billionaire Michael Bloomberg, who will offer an endorsement of Hillary Clinton tonight, and why a fellow Big Apple billionaire should be rejected at the polls. Vice presidential pick Virginia Senator Tim Kaine will accept his party's nomination tonight, but not before President Obama makes the case, as only he can, as to why the woman he beat in 2008 for the White House should take his seat in the Oval Office next year. Talk about a lot of men lining up behind a woman tonight.